And good evening, East Alabama and West Georgia. Kind of forgot what you guys look like. It's been a minute since we've been live, but here we are on Monday, April 1st, 2024. No, this is not an April Fool's joke. Kind of wish maybe it was, but no. We have got some weather to talk about. Maybe some strong to potentially severe thunderstorms across Alabama and Georgia as we head into your Tuesday, perhaps your Tuesday evening. We could be looking at some strong to potentially severe storms. So over the next few minutes or so, we're going to talk about the possibilities, and I'll be answering any questions you may have. And we'll talk about what we are looking at here in the next day or two. This is going to be somewhat of a conditional setup here, meaning that we're going to have kind of two possibilities. You'll notice earlier today the Storm Prediction Center upgraded the severe threat for Alabama and Georgia and included North Alabama in an enhanced risk. That is a level 3 out of 5. Now, that starts to really get your attention. Anytime you see an enhanced risk, really anytime you see a slight risk, you really need to pay attention to it. But an enhanced risk, yeah, it's time to really seriously start looking at what's going on here. And so we're going to have a pretty vigorous storm system come out of the northwest. The main energy is going to move up to the north and to the northeast of us across the Great Lakes region, but it's going to drag a cold front across the southeastern United States. Unlike the last several possible threats of severe weather, we're already going to have a warm sector in place when this storm system moves in tomorrow afternoon and to tomorrow night. The last several events, we were banking on a warm front to move north off of the Gulf of Mexico to provide instability for the cold front that was coming down out of the northwest. That is a typical setup across the southeastern United States, but fortunately, the last couple of 2 or 3 events where we've been banking on those two ingredients to happen haven't really developed. Well, this time around, tomorrow, the warm air is already going to be in place across all of Alabama and Georgia. As a matter of fact, all the way up into Kentucky and even southern Ohio and Indiana is going to have a warm sector. So the warm, unstable air will already be in place when the cold front clashes with that warmer air. So we believe that there is an enhanced risk for severe weather across north and northwest Alabama. Let me show you the big picture as I step through this and continue to explain. I mean, look, we have a moderate risk up there across Ohio, down into extreme northern Kentucky, and then in parts of Pennsylvania, and then we have an enhanced risk across Kentucky, across Tennessee, and down into North Alabama and Northwest Georgia. And the rest of Alabama, including eastern Mississippi, the rest of Alabama, pretty much all of Georgia, a good chunk of South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia under a slight risk category of severe weather. So we think, and this is going to be a little bit confusing and a little bit backwards, so stay with me on this. So the storms are going to come into Alabama tomorrow and into central Tennessee tomorrow, maybe let's go back to look at the timing on this. Probably afternoon, we'll start to see storms up in northwest Alabama, 3 p.m. And up there, as the storms initially come into Alabama, we believe that damaging winds and ping-pong ball-sized hail will be the two main significant threats when the storms begin up in northwest Alabama. That's where the enhanced risk is. And as weird as this is going to sound, as the storms move down into the yellow risk area, the tornado threat may increase, yet the overall number of storms may decrease. So in this weird setup, we may actually have a better chance at weak tornadoes in the yellow shaded area than in the orange shade area. We think the chance of overall severe weather is much greater north of Birmingham than what we see from Birmingham south. However, by the time the storms get into central Alabama and east central Alabama, we're talking after 6 p.m., the wind profile is going to be a little bit different. And so veering will be taking place in the upper levels of the atmosphere at that point, where it may not happen up there in northwest Alabama. Well, that veering is what we need to get those supercell thunderstorms to really start to rotate real good and possibly produce some tornadoes. So, again, as weird as this sounds, we may have a better chance of tornadoes in the yellow than we have in the orange, though they can't be ruled out up there in the orange either. So what do all these colors mean? Really don't mean anything. The only thing you need to take away from this broadcast tonight, that there is a risk of severe weather all across the entire state of Alabama and Georgia on your Tuesday, and most likely after 3, 4, 5 p.m. And the window really opens up between 6 p.m. and about midnight on your Tuesday. Tuesday morning, hey, we're fine. But as we get into the afternoon, that's where the window will start to open, and then it's really open by the time you get home from work tomorrow afternoon, 4, 5, 6 p.m. It's where the best chance will be for severe weather. So again, the orange is the enhanced risk. That's a level 3 out of 5. Damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour, ping-pong ball-sized hail, and a few tornadoes are possible up there in North Alabama as well. The yellow area is a 2 out of 5, meaning the overall threat of severe weather maybe not as high in the yellow as what we see up there in the orange. But I think in this particular case, that possible small spin-up tornado possibility may be actually a little bit higher than what we see up in North Alabama, though the overall threat of severe weather may not be quite as good. But tornadoes are possible, damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour. And quarter-sized hail will be possible across all of East Alabama and West Georgia. And then the green is marginal. That's a 1 out of 5. That really means, hey, just, be weather aware, but no major deal here. And that would be over there in extreme eastern Georgia and across central portions of South Carolina, where we would see that marginal risk. So for all practical purposes, the entire state of Alabama, the entire state of Georgia under the gun for the possibility of severe weather on your Tuesday. Again, the best window of opportunity late afternoon through probably midnight. East Alabama, you may still have some rumbles of thunder going on by midnight tomorrow night, but I think we will have gotten through the most of it by that time. So look at the radar. And you can already see what's happening off to our west. We have multiple watches out there at this hour. We have up in Missouri, we have severe thunderstorm watch up there around Indianapolis, down to just north of Louisville. Then back towards St. Louis, we have a tornado watch that's in place. Several severe thunderstorm warnings that are underway, and I believe we have one tornado warning that's ongoing, and that is going to be in Oklahoma. That's going to be for a possible tornado near Avant, Oklahoma. That would be just to the north and northwest of Avant, Oklahoma. That's a tornado warning. And you see how these are broken up. They're scattered, and that's what I expect to see across Alabama tomorrow. I don't think we're looking at one big solid line of severe storms. I think it's going to be a broken line of showers and thunderstorms. Some of the storms may be severe. Some of them may not be severe. But as we look back down the line, then we have a severe thunderstorm watch from Dallas all the way down to, southern Texas. And so it's already underway. And as this thing moves to the east during the evening, it's going to be a slow mover. And it'll be in here, like I said, across East Alabama and West Georgia about 24 hours from now. I think we'll be right in the thick of this event. And again, it's going to be very conditional. I mean, there is the chance that the ingredients don't come together and this is a complete bust and we don't see any severe weather at all. That's best case scenario. Worst case scenario, we do get severe storms, Boeing segments in the line, and we start to see severe weather warnings issued across Alabama and Georgia. Let's see what we've got over here in the chat room. Let me go back and let's go back up to the graphics. There we go. And I'll put the timing back up there from Birmingham. Let me go over to, well, let's do this. Let's go to there we go. Now, let me see what's going on in the chat room here. If you have any questions, now's a good time to throw them at me. Hey, Lisa Fettner, watching us down in Lynette. Meriwether County's in the house. Hey, Dennis. You folks on Facebook, there is a link that's scrolling in the chat room, and that link says, if you're watching us over on Facebook and you hadn't done so, please click on the link so that I know who you are. Right now, all I see is Facebook user. There's a link. You have to scroll back up. It says Facebook users. Click here to give Dr. Don permission to see your username. So if you're on Facebook and you hadn't done that, click on that link. It's chat.restream.io/Facebook. And then the link is in the chat room. Please do that so I know who I'm talking to. Otherwise, all I see is Facebook user. And let me tell you folks something. In case we hadn't been live in a while, so there's a chance you've missed all this. Sometime this month, maybe around the 22nd of April, we understand Facebook is going to make some changes which will prevent us from streaming live, we think, just to our groups. We have 3 groups on Facebook: North Georgia, East Alabama, and Central Alabama. We don't think it's going to affect us on our Dr. Don weather page, just on our weather groups on Facebook. We're not positive about that. So if you typically watch us on Facebook, the best thing you can do is go over to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and click the little bell so that you get notified when we go live to cover severe weather. I just saw someone post on here that said they're loving the notifications from YouTube. That's because that is a push notification. It comes to you regardless of whether you've interacted with Dr. Don's weather in the last hour, the last day, the last week, last month, last year. As long as you're subscribed to Dr. Don's weather and you click that little bell, you're going to get notified when we go live to cover severe weather. So regardless of whether Facebook takes us off or whatever on Facebook, please go over there and subscribe to Dr. Don's weather. It will definitely get information to you a whole lot better, a whole lot quicker, and you're guaranteed to get the notification. That's the cool part. Rockstan's in the house. There's Kim. She's my County Road 43 weather watcher. Madison, Alabama's in the house. Hey, Michael. Tin Shop from Facebook user. You need to go click on that link there, Tin Shop, so I know who you are. There's Jennifer watching us up in Wedowee. Darlene Head. Franklin, Georgia. I talked to somebody the other day. Where was I? They were from Heard County. It'll come to me in a minute. I was at a conference, I think, in Athens, Georgia, and ran into somebody from, I believe, Heard County. Alexander City. There's Beverly Smith. Leslie McClendon. Can't see the map. It's too small. Leslie, let me tell you how to solve that problem. Let me jump up on the soapbox. Leslie, go to YouTube, subscribe to Dr. Don's Weather, and click that little bell. Then go to your smart TV, go to the YouTube app, search for Dr. Don's Weather, and watch us on that 75-inch screen TV you got hanging up in your living room. And down in the lower right-hand corner of the screen, when you're watching us on a big screen TV, you'll see a settings cog down there. You want to click that and then click on high resolution. Oh, my word. You talking about great quality. I mean, it's like I'm sitting all up in the middle of your living room. And you can see all those little towns on the map. You can see great resolution of the maps. I know it's small on your phone. I get it. But that's the best way to watch us, folks. If you've got a tablet, that's better than your phone. Phone's relatively small, and we put a lot of information on the screen. I understand. So the best way to watch us, though, is on that big screen TV. So this is for all of East Alabama and West Georgia. LaGrange, Valley, Lafayette, Roanoke, Alexander City, Ashland, Lineville, Franklin, Carrollton, Pine Mountain, Auburn, Opelika, all of East Alabama and West Georgia will have a slight risk of severe weather tomorrow, and there will be the risk of all modes of severe weather, including the possibility of tornadoes. Oh, well, Leslie says she has a dumb TV. Leslie, come on. Get you. Well, if it's does it have a USB port on it? If it has a USB port on it, go get you a Fire Stick. Hook it up to your TV, then you can watch YouTube. Kelly from Roanoke, Alabama. Hey, Kelly Ann Hill. Pennant, Alabama. Let's see. Yes, I will do a recap here in just a few moments. We're good tonight. No problems this evening. This will be late tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow night. You're welcome, Leslie. Hey, look, seriously, if you need some assistance with that, just send me a message on Messenger. I'll be glad to point you in the right direction on how to get all that hooked up. I mean, it's real simple. I mean, you just need to get to where you can get to YouTube TV, not YouTube TV, but just regular YouTube. And then just search Dr. Don's Weather and subscribe, and make sure you click that little bell. That's the most important part. If you don't, you're not going to get notified. Jacksonville, Alabama. Hey, look, would y'all like to win a Dr. Don coffee cup? You know, the coffee cup? Well, look, wait a minute. I'll show you a picture of it in a minute. So there's two chances for you to win. Number one, get in touch with Jamie Dukas. His number's at the top of the page. Call him up, say, hey, Jamie, I want one of those Dr. Don coffee cups. Hook a brother up. He's going to get a little information from you, and he's going to give you a quick insurance quote. Not going to cost you anything. There's no obligation, no nothing. And he's going to show you he can put money back in your pocket. And in a lot of cases, he can increase your coverage. And he's going to send me your name. I'm going to put you in the drawing. We do it every Friday morning for a Dr. Don coffee cup. And if you go over to our YouTube channel and subscribe, I'm going to add your name a second time. Double your chances at winning a Dr. Don coffee cup. Deborah Brown's in the house watching. Jackie Kimbar's watching us from Newell. Tony Johnson's in Auburn, Alabama. Folks, if you'd like to support us, we'd love for you to support us. We appreciate everything you do. We're in our 5th year March celebrated our 5th year of broadcasting live on YouTube and Facebook for severe weather. And it's because you folks have kept us here, and all of our supporters that you see scrolling on the screen. And if you'd like to support us, there's several links scrolling there in the chat room where you can do that, multiple different ways. And also the Dr. Don Weather Store, if you'd like to purchase a coffee cup, a T-shirt like the one I've got on. We've also got hoodies. We've got caps. You can do that, and part of the proceeds come back to support us here at Dr. Don's Weather. Yes, Josh Payton, I plan on being live. I don't really think we've got anything to worry about before 4, 5, or 6 o'clock tomorrow night, if at all. And I will be live if need be. There's Al Morris watching us in Blairsville, Georgia, just up the road from our studios down in White County. There's Donnie Hinkle watching us in Roanoke. Rock Mills is in the house. Somebody's watching us from Beanpole, Alabama. I'm real interested in knowing where that's at. All it says is Facebook user, so I don't know who you are. You need to click on that link that's scrolling here in the chat room so I'll know who you are. But I need to know where Beanpole, Alabama is. That's a new one. Born and raised in Alabama, can tell you just about where anything's at over there. But I don't know where Beanpole's at. Jay Phillips is watching from Roanoke. Trudy Bryson Godwin is in Kentucky, moved from Roanoke. Well, now look, Trudy. Here's the beauty part of modern technology. I can do this from anywhere for anywhere. You round up about 10 or 15 supporters up there, and we'll start a Kentucky channel too. Could be done. Denise is watching us in West Roanoke. That's out there in the burbs. Molly is watching from Broughton Ridge. There's our PayPal link if you'd like to support us on PayPal. Kay Cochran Hemmings watching us from Glenn, Georgia. You know what? I talked to somebody that was from Roosterville. She said, I asked her where she was from. I believe, if I remember correctly, she works in the Coweta County 911 Center. And I told her I was originally from East Alabama, and she said, well, I'm almost in East Alabama. I said, where you at? Where you live? She said, you'll never heard of it. And I said, try me. She said, Roosterville. I said, I know exactly where you're talking about. Home of Keith Jackson. I know exactly where. Actually, me and producer Tracy went through Roosterville not too long ago. Let's see. Kayla Dunson watching from Tanner in Wedowee, but she be from Ranburne, Alabama. Joanna's watching us up on the state line there at Ephesus. Yeah, right, Leslie? I do too. But I'm afraid it is not a April Fool's joke. What you got there, producer Tracy? You can't find Beanpole, Alabama? Well, since you're on camera, wave at everybody. Oh, man. Well, you know, we're like live up here. All right, so producer Tracy stumped. She can't find Beanpole. I need some help on that one. Melanie Robertson is watching us. Denise Willis. Been quite a spring this far. Yeah, it has, but we haven't really had a major tornado threat. And I don't think tomorrow night's going to be it. But there's just enough question as to how this is going to set up tomorrow night that I do think everybody needs to pay attention to it. This doesn't look like a classic red letter tornado outbreak setup for East Alabama or West Georgia. But I think there is enough concern there that everybody does need to be weather aware. We do need to pay attention to it. Hopefully this time tomorrow night we're saying, well, that was a dud. Nothing to it. Y'all go on about your business, and we're all done. That's what I hope for, and it's certainly possible that's how this could turn out. Yes, it has been a quiet spring. With the exception of pollen, that broke loose over the weekend. Ooh. I have a white work vehicle, and my white work vehicle was rather green this morning. Gold Ridge. Hey, Jessica. All right, let me do a little recap for you on what we know right now and what we think might be the situation as we get into tomorrow evening. Let me go back to the graphics. Here's the latest graphics from the National Weather Service. This was posted this afternoon. This is the local graphic that's produced by the National Weather Service out of Birmingham. And you can see there that we have an enhanced risk, a 3 out of 5, 5 being the highest, 5 being the most dangerous situation we have. 3 is what we're looking at for North Alabama. It's 3 out of 5. Damaging winds of up to 70 miles per hour, ping pong ball-sized hail, that's a mouthful, and even a tornado or two is possible up there in North Alabama. Then you come south of that, you see the yellow area, which includes the rest of the state of Alabama. And I'll show you the southeastern United States in just a moment. You can see that is a very large area. But that is a 2 out of 5, meaning that tornadoes are possible, damaging winds of up to 60 miles per hour, and quarter-sized hail. This includes all of East Alabama and West Georgia. So if you live east of I-65 in Alabama and west of Atlanta in Georgia, you're included in the yellow area, 2 out of 5. And some of the latest data suggests that there may actually be more of a tornado threat in the yellow area than there is going to be up in the orange area. That's a little weird, I know, but that's what we're looking at. And as time goes on, before this whole thing starts tomorrow night, this graphic may change completely. There's still time for that. This is kind of a fluid graphic. It will change as we continue to get upper-level readings from the atmosphere and the Weather Service changes their thought process on what we're looking at. Then this graphic will change as well. And then a 1 out of 5 is a marginal risk, and we don't even have a marginal risk in Alabama or Georgia. We do in extreme east Georgia, but not across our viewing area tomorrow. And there's the timing on the right. Northwest Alabama between 3 and 9. Central Alabama into East Alabama between 6 p.m. and midnight, and then far East Alabama, Southeast Alabama, and West Georgia between 11 p.m. and 4 a.m. If you're in the Eastern time zone, that would be midnight through 5 a.m. I think all of this is out of East Alabama and West Georgia probably by 1 or 2 a.m. Wednesday morning, if not sooner. The window is between, really the best windows between 6 p.m. and about 2 a.m., but we're not looking at storms that entire time. That's not the way this works. But sometime within that time frame is what we're looking at here. All right, so that's the National Weather Service. That's the National Weather Service local. Now, here's the Storm Prediction Center. This is the national prediction for severe weather on Tuesday, primarily Tuesday afternoon for East Alabama and West Georgia. And you can see that enhanced risk starts just north of Birmingham, goes up through central Tennessee, covers a huge chunk of Kentucky, gets part of southeastern Indiana, parts of Ohio, Pennsylvania, and you see that moderate risk up there in Ohio down into extreme northern Kentucky. That is a 4 out of 5. That's not something you see very often, and that's going to suggest that the absolute worst weather is going to be up there. But I think that's going to primarily be for hail. We're talking golf ball size or larger hail up there in portions of Ohio tomorrow. And really, the further south you go, the better the chance are of tornadoes. And it will be after about 6 p.m. Really, we can't rule out a tornado in North Alabama or Northwest Georgia, but as that line moves through mid to late afternoon across North Alabama, the wind profile is going to change. Once that line gets down to about Birmingham, the winds are going to start really turning out of the south, which is going to cause veering in the upper levels of the atmosphere, which may actually increase the risk of spinning supercell tornadoes and the possibility of a few spin-off spinning supercell storms with a few spin-off tornadoes will be more likely right now, it looks like, as that the line of storms gets down into central Alabama and maybe across East Alabama as well. So that's what we're looking at tomorrow. Again, right now, this doesn't look like a red letter severe weather outbreak across Alabama and Georgia. This could end up being a complete bust where we don't see anything but a few scattered showers. That's certainly what we're hoping for. But everybody needs to pay attention and be weather aware tomorrow, just in case we do get some significant severe weather going in the afternoon. It is certainly on the table and certainly a possibility that we could indeed see some significant severe weather. And there's a look one more time. That's the live look at the latest radar. And you can see that storms are already developing basically from Indianapolis down through St. Louis, back towards Springfield, down to near Oklahoma City, and even down toward Dallas. So we have some strong storms this evening. All right, folks, that's going to wrap it up for tonight's Weather Talk Live. We're at about 5 minutes after the hour, 5 minutes after 8 p.m. Central, 5 minutes after 9. Golly, is it already 9:05? It's past my bedtime. Well, I do get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to get your daily prime time forecast out before you guys get out of the bed. So, yeah, I do go to bed pretty early. So we're going to wrap it up for tonight. We will be watching this. I'll have your primetime forecast out first thing tomorrow morning with the absolute latest information. That's another beautiful part about signing up over on YouTube and subscribing to our channel and clicking the little bell. Every single time we send out an update, you're also going to get that notification. And when we go live, you get notified. So please, if you hadn't done that, do it today, because I'm telling you, folks, sometime mid-April, that may be your only option. It just depends on what Facebook does to us over on our Facebook channels. We're being told there's going to be changes. We're not 100% certain on exactly what those changes are going to be, though we think it's only going to affect our groups and not our page. We're not 100% positive, and quite frankly, I don't think I'm going to know for sure until the 22nd gets here and we just see what happens. So to make sure you don't miss anything, go on over to our YouTube channel, subscribe to Dr. Don's Weather, click the little bell. That way, even if you still want to continue watching us on Facebook, as long as they carry us on Facebook, that's fine. You'll just get notified from YouTube, hey, Dr. Don is live, then you can go to Dr. Don on Facebook and watch us there. One other option, there's always the option of going to our website at drdonwx.com. We broadcast everything over there on our website as well. It's basically the feed from YouTube. So you can always watch us on YouTube and on our website if all else fails. So we're going to wrap things up for this evening. I'll be back with you first thing tomorrow morning with the absolute latest, and then we will go live with wall-to-wall coverage tomorrow night if conditions warrant throughout this possible severe weather outbreak on the way for East Alabama and West Georgia. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, and I'll talk to you first thing tomorrow morning, good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise.